Dave Defazio is a partner of Strategy Corp and works with his clients to design, build, and implement a variety of checking, marketing, and training programs. His extensive financial service experiences and continuous research in the field ensures each product and service meets the need of today's credit unions and their members. Dave has spoken at conferences nationwide about insight in research and innovations in financial technology, retail banking, and other tactics of today's best retailers. And today, Dave will be talking to us about Has My Identity Been Stolen? Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Christine. I appreciate that introduction and happy to be with all of you here today. You'll see my digits there on the screen. So if you haven't had a chance to connect with me yet, please go out and find me on LinkedIn or on Twitter and make a connection there. I know that maybe some of you have had a chance to see me on a stage here. I've done a lot of presentations at associations all across the country over the last few years talking about apps and how they're affecting the future of our industry. And today we're going to talk a little bit about that, but in context of identity theft. And so I'm going to jump right in and get started. I think when we think about the kinds of products and services that will impact our future, I think we have to think about what's happening today, right? So products are super important. Our phones are rewiring our brains and changing the way that we think. And so as smart credit unions, we've got to think about what are our members doing with their phones and their lives and make our products better in that regard. We have to think a little bit about the changes in consumer behavior. So I call it the subscription society. So think about that. Sam's Club, Costco, Amazon Prime, AAA, Netflix, Spotify. Anybody subscribing to any of those things, right? So we've got to think about if people are buying differently, then we have to think about selling our products differently too, right? And then we have to think about just the financial pressures of the day. In today's world, I call it nearing the end of the free checking era. Now, that doesn't mean that we have to panic and start slinging fees around everywhere, but it does mean that we've got to think about the financial structures of our products, and we can't afford necessarily to give all away our products all away for free anymore, but we've got to be really careful about how we try to drive member-friendly kinds of fee income, right? And so today I'll touch on a few of those ideas and maybe get your brain turning a little bit. And I thought today I would start with just a little bit about what I think the trendsetters are related to identity theft out in the marketplace. And so maybe raise your hand if you have heard of a company that's called Credit Karma. Anybody heard about that? And how many of you have Credit Karma on your phone and have tested it out or are a happy user of Credit Karma? All right, so I start with Credit Karma because I think that a person's last experience is their new expectation is a phrase that I use a lot. And Credit Karma is setting a lot of expectations around how this stuff works because they have so many users. Now, get ready for this number. I looked it up this morning. Now, Credit Karma today has crossed over and they now have more than 100 million users. 100 million. And they were just, they're merging now with the people, that own Mint. It's going to give them access to even more users and more data. And so even though they're dominating, it's only just the beginning, I think, for them. And then you keep looking under the covers on some of their numbers. Not only do they have 100 million users, but they have nearly half of the millennials as users. Half of the millennials are Credit Karma users. And so what Credit Karma has been able to do is to leverage that user base into a powerful business, and they're generating lots of revenues and interesting things. And so to start our conversation around identity theft, I thought I would even just show you the Credit Karma app and what it looks like, and a couple little things there that I think are putting pressure on us as an industry, and then we'll open up and talk about what that means for us in the credit union space. So here's my Credit Karma app. I'm gonna tap on it. It logs me in, and you'll see that front and center, it shows me my credit score there with TransUnion and Equifax. This is a credit reporting, credit monitoring app. That's the centerpiece of the service that they provide. But you'll notice a couple things if you just scroll down just a tiny little bit, and they're using that data to make referrals. And you'll see based on their read of my credit situation, they're offering different kinds of credit cards. At the top, I can get offers for mortgage refinances. You'll see that pops up here in just a second based on, the mortgages that I have. They just introduced savings accounts here. And so I'll show you some of the insights that it's given to me as a user, but let me drop a number here on you. So far, Credit Karma has referred 40 billion in loans. And it's almost unbelievable, right? And so who are they making those referrals to? Well, it's to these giant banks. And so what happens is now you'll see that the giant banks, they've had this awakening to what the opportunity of, if you can connect people, give them some of this information that they're craving about their credit life, it means big business, new loans, new referrals, new credit cards, new mortgages. And so now not only are they taking these referrals from Credit Karma, but if you go out to any of these big banks now, what are they also doing now? They're all also offering free credit reports and scores and monitoring for all of their customers and users as well. So, so I think if you're a credit union in today's world and you're not thinking about how do we provide our members some insights about their credit life, then you're behind the game, right? The gap is building from where the big banks are going and the expectation that Credit Karma is setting in the marketplace. All right, now I didn't try not to scare the bejeebers out of you doing that, right? So it's okay. We can still close the gap quickly. And now I think that we've got to think a little bit about how our members and users are wired. And, they're going out to get this information from Credit Karma and the big banks, but, do they want it? Do they want this kind of information from banks? And so next, I'm going to show you some of the insights that I've been able to uncover in my own research. I got lucky a few years ago. I was doing a speech and I went out looking for a stat about the subscription society and I couldn't find the stat. So I just decided to do the research all myself. And so I ended up making a connection with the folks at Cornerstone. You'll see Ron Shevlin's name there at the bottom of that white paper. Ron, in my humble opinion, is the best researcher in banking today. And so I've been funding a portion of Ron's research now for the last few years. Every year we release this white paper that has a summary of the research and the things that we're learning. I give it away for free. I promise you there's no catch. And if you go to my website, I keep all of my stuff, slides and videos and research papers and things that I'm learning about the marketplace there so that you can steal it from me. So if you go to strategycore.com/stuff, you'll find all that there. There is, it's a password protected page, but you just use the password stuff and you can have all of my stuff. So here are a couple of interesting things that we learned in our last season of research around identity theft protection. Now, we asked people, about the things that they like, and you'll see identity theft is listed on that, among some other things that we're constantly marketing. This will make a little more sense when I show you some of the tools that we provide to financial institutions to help them solve these challenges. But asking people what they like is one way to think about consumer demand and finding things that people value. But we really look at trying to find the things that people are already paying for, that they're already using as the best indicator of what they value. So don't ask them, what do you think you might do? Ask them, what are you already doing, right? Does that make sense how I'm distinguishing that? So look at the second line there on identity theft. You'll see if you read the color code that there's about 22% of the people in our survey. These are banking customers that told us that they were already using identity theft services and paying for it. You can look at the medium gray there. Another full quarter of people have access to this information, but they're not paying for it. That's Credit Karma, right? And then 19% of people said they don't have it yet, but they would like to. So there's a lot of people that have their eye on these kinds of services and find value in them. So now the question is, does it make sense for them to go to a bank or a credit union to get this information? And so we asked an interesting question here. We said, hey, what if your bank or credit union actually offered these kinds of services, maybe even bundled with a checking account, and maybe even if there was a small monthly fee in order to get it? And so look at some of the numbers there. Look at identity theft. It was the top scoring protection benefit that we tested here above all the others. And if you add those numbers up together, that's 66% of people that said that they were at least somewhat interested in getting identity theft services from their bank or credit union and even paying for it, right? So that's a pretty good number if you're thinking about how we can expand our services, maybe make them good enough that people want to pay for them. But where I think it gets really interesting is if we break these pieces of data down by age segment, right? Many of you at credit unions are trying to find products that are more appealing to younger people as we prepare for our future, make products that can help us grow our business with those younger consumers. And so we asked the same question, or we broke down the data by age responses for those same services. And so you can read this as people get younger, moving right to left, you can see their demand for these kinds of services. So I said, what was it? 66% of people said that they'd like to get these services from their bank or credit union for all users. But look at the young people, it's even more, right? So in one way that I'm translating this, the punchline is that Credit Karma has paved the way for these young people to expect these kinds of services. Their expectations are high. They want this kind of information. They crave this kind of information. So now what can we do as an industry to give it to them? And maybe we can give it to them in a way that we can think about our business a little bit differently. And that's what I want to show you a little bit about next. And this is going to be a service that I provide to banks and credit unions around the country called Bazing. And so what I'm going to do is share my phone screen with you here again. So I have a device that connects my phone to my screen. So that's actually my phone that you're seeing on the screen. I'm going to show you my app that's called Bazing. It's an added value platform, a rewards platform. We deliver Bazing as a companion app to your mobile banking app. You don't have to call it Bazing. I'm showing you there an app that says Bazing, but if I tap where it says custom Bazing, you can see there are some of my financial institution clients. They choose their own custom names and we build white label apps for these services. Now I'm going to open up Bazing and you'll see a collection of lots of different kinds of services. More on that in just a bit, but you'll see a tile there that's labeled as identity theft aid, right? So because we're talking about that today, I'm going to go ahead and tap into the identity theft aid tile. And you can see that my Bazing family of services also includes a number of different things related to identity theft. These are tools that can help people either prevent identity theft problems, or if you become a victim of identity theft, help you fix it. And that, I think, is an interesting angle for us to take in the banking industry, because if you go out and look at what Credit Karma is doing and the like, they are doing some prevention tools, but I don't see them really aiming at the restoration services, right? So if you have a problem, how are you going to fix it? So that might be a way that we can zig a little bit when Credit Karma is zagging and talk about the extra appeal and the extra service and added value that we can give to our members as a credit union. And so I have full-scale identity restoration services. If you become a victim, we're going to connect you with one of our restoration experts that will help you do everything that you need to do to get everything back on track. This could be something as simple as giving you some forms and things if you've got a do-it-yourself fix-it problem, or if you have a particularly hairy problem, we can even have you sign a limited power of attorney, and our experts can go out and negotiate directly with the creditors on your behalf to help you get things back in track there. We have identity theft protection coverages. So if you become a victim of identity theft, sometimes there are expenses that you'll incur to get everything fixed, right? You might have to replace important documents. There may be legal expenses that you have. And so the Federal Trade Commission reports that the average expense that a person has to fix identity theft is around $1,500. And so we've got a policy amount that covers you for any of those expenses you incur to get everything patched up. We have a payment card protection service. So if you want to fix the problem, if you lose your wallet or purse and you want to fix those problems, sometimes the cards that or the numbers that you need to call are on the backs of the cards that you just lost, right? And so payment card protection allows you, if you're in a moment where you've lost your wallet or purse, don't panic. Again, just connect with one of our experts. They're going to do a soft pull of your credit report, and then they're going to be able to get things hot carded immediately so that you don't have to worry about any of the problems that can arise from a lost or a stolen wallet. And then identity monitoring is exciting. I'm going to click on that, and you'll see all the things that are listed there. I think it's easier to just tap right over to the dashboard. We have a single sign-on experience. It's taking me to my dashboard here. Sorry, my internet here in my house is not cooperating. There it is. Okay, so you'll see the dashboard. This is an example user that we've set up to show some of the powers of these kinds of things. So lucky for this example users, there are no active alerts that he has to worry about. If there were active alerts, you would see them obviously front and center. That's the most important part of the dashboard. Now, in addition to watching your credit, there are a number of different, you'll hear this sometimes referred to as the black web or the dark web, right? Where there are these places where people will go out and trade information. They trade credit card numbers or they sell these kinds of information. So these are dark web monitoring features that are now baked into, right directly into our app. So if I wanted to monitor one of my bank accounts or monitor my driver's license or even things like medical IDs or membership cards, I can punch those in and then the service will monitor those on my behalf. And then just like with Credit Karma, I'm going to tap up in here to the menu, and I'm going to click where it says Credit Reports and Monitoring. And it's going to take me to the credit report section, and it's going to show me the example report or score for this user. I can scroll down and it gives me all the information that's contained right inside of my credit report. I can study each of those pieces of information, just with one tap. And then what's pretty cool is that I can also go into the credit center and there is a score simulator, right? So if I'm thinking about making a change in my credit life, maybe I'm thinking about, taking on a new loan, or maybe I'm in a pickle and I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen if I don't, pay a bill on time or something like that. The score simulator gives me some scenarios to think about that can have an impact on my score. So maybe I want to take out a new home equity loan to do some improvements to my house. And if I, look at some of the amounts that are there, it tells me, with a $50,000 installment loan or home equity loan, I can expect that those additional amounts based on my credit health, it's predicted to lower my score by 24 points because of the outstanding balances that I would be taking on, right? So these kinds of models are now almost something that users expect because of the situation that I described there with Credit Karma, right? So lots of cool things that you can do. Right from the credit center, and all of these things are available to users immediately right inside of the Bazing app. All right, so I'm going to switch back over and talk a little bit about, I was showing in the research that now maybe we can think outside of the box as an industry and start applying some of these things that users are telling us that they want or that they like, and we can use them to now build up and strengthen the bottom line of our credit unions, right? And so you'll see a mix of other kinds of benefits that I offer. We've got research behind why we choose all these benefits. Obviously, we don't have time to go into those deeply today, but I thought I would show you a couple of those that are very popular. Roadside assistance. Remember I said we find things that people like or things that they're already paying for. This one shouldn't surprise you, right? There are 60 million people that subscribe to AAA. So what my company does, think of me as a subscription expert. When I find these things that people are subscribing to, I've got lots of buying power because I have so many units and accounts across all of my clients. So I go out, I find the companies that offer services to companies like AAA, and now I can negotiate lower prices for those things and we can undercut the market. So now your credit union could offer roadside assistance. And if one of your members is stuck on the side of the road, we tell them, hey, don't panic. The credit union can come to the rescue. And if I tap there where it says call roadside assistance, we get somebody there to help. We have cell phone protection services where if your phone is broken or stolen, we have policy coverages to have your phone replaced or fixed. That's pretty cool, right? One catch, just pay your cell phone bill through your checking account at the credit union. That's a great way to build more primary members, right? So we mix up these non-traditional kinds of benefits, and then we can show you how to mix them and blend them with your products and services at the credit union. I thought I'd show you an example of that. So here is something that we call a placemat. So think of this as a sales tool that might be at the desk to help your members or make it easier for your members to choose the products that are a fit for them. It makes it easy for the branch teams to sell. You'll see a mix of some of those benefits that I was showing you inside of the Bazing app. And then on the back page, you'll see an example of how you can mix these kinds of added value benefits into a checking account lineup. That's really where our expertise as a company centers. We're trying to teach our clients that, hey, look, the checking account is the anchor product. Think about it. If you ask somebody where they bank today, they're going to tell you the bank or credit union where they have their checking account, right? In most cases, it defines the relationship between a member and their credit union. And here you'll see a checking account lineup that's built around an idea that we call the good, better, best product menu. And if I say it that way, don't you already know what I'm doing here? If I say good, better, best, we see that everywhere today in retailing, right? So if you go buy a cell phone package today, you'll probably get a good, better, best offer. Go buy a car or go put gas in your car. So we see this good, better, best technique used in retailing all the time. So why not with checking accounts, right? So what happens is that if you use this method, it makes it easy for people to make a choice. That's number one. Number two, there's something that happens chemically in our brain when presented with a good, better, best choice. We tend to flock toward the middle position. And what do you see here in the middle position? You see an account that has some of these value-based benefits associated with it, but it has a subscription fee on it, $5 per month, $6 per month, $7 per month. And what we know is that when presented with these choices, the people that are opening checking accounts, 30 to 50% of them would choose to pay a fee to the credit union to take advantage of things like this, even though, like in this example, they could choose something that was less expensive or even free. So 30 to 50% of people choose to pay a fee. Now that probably, I think if we think about it, shouldn't surprise us. These 30 to 50% are what I call the value buyers or the subscription buyers. Remember I started my session today talking about that. So when you look under the covers in my research, I've learned that about a little over half of American households subscribe to Amazon Prime, right? So these subscription buyers, they're very predictable. So here, if we show the subscription buyers, hey, look, we've taken some things that you're probably paying separately for, and we package them together. And now instead of paying separately for stuff like roadside assistance and identity theft protection and cell phone protection, because you're a member at the credit union, we can get you a better than marketplace deal on these things. So instead of hundreds of dollars per year, it's only $5 or $6 a month. And so said that way, it's not surprising why such a high percentage of members will choose to pay. And you know, that's the challenge of our marketplace today, is that we've had to really give away our products for free for so long. We've really trained people to expect our products, particularly checking accounts, to be free. But now there are new opportunities for us to derive some member-friendly fee income using techniques like I'm demonstrating for you. Now, the good news is these things aren't new. Our company's been in business since 2001. We've been teaching banks and credit unions how to employ added value benefits to grow fee income sources, to reward relationships, to add more value and acquisition power to their product lineups. And so it's been my honor today to give you a peek at some of these services. And we're experts in checking account design. So the quick commercial, if you're thinking about the next version of your products, if you're thinking about how to make your products more engaging to your members, particularly those younger members, and then if you're trying to tackle the challenge of the day of making your products more financially productive, then that's where we can help. I'm one of the partners and owners of Strategy Core. On the screen, you may be able to see another of my colleagues there. There's Dan. Say hello, Dan. And Dan is the
Hi, everyone.
he leads our consulting practice in the New England states. And so Dan's a very experienced financial services marketer and product designer. And so if you'd like to talk to us about some ideas that we may have around making your products better, then we'd welcome a conversation with your credit union to do that. And Christine, I'm so honored that you've given us a chance to come in and me particularly to share some of my thoughts around where I see identity theft benefits evolving and how our company might help.
And I think this is, a really nice package deal for a credit union to offer. And especially, you're in this example to get this, all the values, it's only $5 a month. And I'm like a huge coupon queen girl. I get the $5 subscription to CVS so I can get the $10, free every single month. And and these are just some additional ways to save. I see the shop local, save local. I think that is great. So then we can also help our communities, by shopping with them and then giving them, also giving us a discount to use it. And, I know I have used roadside assistance quite often. Well, for my daughter, and it has helped her immensely, and she uses it, I think, a little too much, but all these services are just really, really good. And the ID theft, I do use Credit Karma to make sure nobody pulls my credit or, nothing on there. And I do like how this is geared towards credit unions so that, I don't have anybody saying, hey, get this credit card or take this loan out. It takes the members away from going to the different, services that might be enticing to them at that moment because they're in need of that product.
Yeah, no question. So many great things. Like we talked about this many benefits out of all the benefits that are available through Bazing. You were hitting some of the other great highlights, like as a coupon queen, as you just self-described. We have local coupons, and then there's even a neat feature where they all have a geofence around them. So if you happen to walk into a place and you forget, we'll pop up a notification and remind you not to miss out on the discount while you're there. So it's pretty cool for people that like to clip coupons. And so yeah, you hit on a number of those great things that we can do with to call attention and give free advertising to local merchants. So these are great ways to give back to the community as well. So well, there are my digits again. And so if you have any questions, certainly you can contact us, or if you drop a line to Christine, I know that she'd be happy to pass along a question to us. And we'll look forward to opportunities to interact with you all somewhere down the road. And again, it's my privilege to have a chance to share some of those thoughts with you today.
Well, thank you, Dave. This was very insightful, and I will make sure I get the recordings out to the credit unions who are not available to come. And also, I have that Strategy Corp document information that I'm going to share with everybody so that they can see the insights to checking accounts.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.